If you don't know who I am, my name is Dylan. I'm the founder of No Limit Trades, and I have been teaching people how to do exactly what I'm about to show you for the last 2 years. Coming up here, I'm going to jump into all of my accounts. Everything's going to be live. You're going to be able to see everything for your own eyes. There's no fake Photoshop screenshots, none of that. I'll refresh everything so you guys can see exactly what is inside of my account. And make sure you guys stay tuned to the end of this video if you guys want to see me take a trade completely live. I'm going to show you from step A all the way to Z of how I take a trade, and you guys are going to see it firsthand. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So what I have pulled up here in front of you guys right away is my MEXC portfolio. This is the brokerage that I used to use up until about 4 or 5 days ago, I think. This is an amazing brokerage. It's really great, but I am in the US and they are starting to require KYC, which if you know anything about trading crypto, that gets a little sticky. So I really want to stay out of that. I did switch brokerages. I will show you guys in the end of the video what brokerage I switched to. But for now, we are going to take a look at exactly where I started. Now, you guys are probably looking at my equity trend here and thinking, what is this, Dylan? Did you lose all of your money in one day? You can see I got my account all the way up to $1,743, which isn't a lot of money at all for me, but it's impressive once you guys see what I started at. Now, this was the exact day that I decided to leave this brokerage and go and open a new one. So I did withdrawal. You can see my balance went from $1,743 all the way down to $145. Just to clear that up before you guys think that I full ported and just ruined everything, I didn't. I actually kept this $145 balance. I took a couple more trades just because to see if I could build back up. And I got back up to $200 from that. Anyhow, you guys all want to see exactly where I started with this account. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. This says $0 on January 31st was the exact day that I made my deposit into this account. $25.17 was the exact number that I started with. Now on the day-to-day, I do trade options in the stock market as well. So in the beginning here, when I first started, I was more so just playing around, learning the brokerage, not really doing too much and not really taking too many trades. So you can see pretty much the whole entire first month or two was pretty much nothing. I think I took a small trade and just let it run, but it didn't really go too far until February 28th. This was the day that Bitcoin ended up exploding. I don't know if this was the exact day or not, but I was long on Bitcoin all the way from like back here, I believe. So my account went from $30 all the way up to $85 in like 2 days. Now from here, I was pretty excited, but I still wasn't fully trading in this account. I was kind of just playing on and off back and forth. But once my portfolio jumped up to over $100, that was when I started actually taking trades, which you'll see here in a second. Now, I will say when you're trading crypto futures, it is not the easiest thing in the world with less than $100. Obviously, it's possible. I'm here to show you that. I'm living proof that you can go from $25 to over $1,000 in your account. And I'm actually way above $1,000 now. I will show you guys that in a little bit. But going from this $100 mark, this is where I really started to kind of pick things up a little bit. It was kind of slow. You can see every day I'm climbing up anywhere between like $3 and $40. It's very random, but I was making some really sporadic plays here. Now this day from the 16th to the 17th, I jumped up almost $100 on the portfolio. It was about a $60 gain. And you can see there's just a nice continuation up. It's pretty consistent. Almost every day I was green. Now you might be wondering here, what happened? I went from $300 to $790 in a matter of 1 day. Now that is a huge gain in 1 day. No, I did not full port. No, I did not even really trade for the most part. What I did was I told myself at this $100 mark, I told myself if I can get from $100 to $300, that is a 300% return. I am going to deposit more money in my portfolio. So I went from $300 to $790. Now keep in mind, this beginning stage of my portfolio, I was still learning. I was still a little bit new to crypto. But again, I do have that stock market trading experience in my back pocket from the last 4 years. And everybody's opinion is different, but in my opinion, trading crypto futures is almost identical to trading in the stock market. There is really not much different besides the leverage. And I think you guys can see what happened after I jumped up to $790. Things started getting a lot better. I had a lot more cash on hand to really start dumping more money into these trades. You can see I went from $790 to $809, $836, $875, $900, $1,000. I had a $100 jump in 1 day, and I just kept going up continuously and continuously until I reached $1,743. Now at this point, this was when I got the news that MEXC was starting to KYC their platform. And of course, I was one of the users on their platform. I did not want anything to do with being KYC'd. So I jumped off the platform and I found a new platform. Now what you see here is Blowfin. I am actually a partner on Blowfin. I'm not trying to shove this down your guys' throat, but I did get a little partnership with them to jump over to their platform. Partnership aside, I did all of my due diligence before joining Blowfin. I looked at, I think, like 5 or 6 other brokerages that I was going in between. I also looked at BingX. I did actually make a switch to BingX before Blowfin, and they literally tried to lock down my funds the first day I was on the account. I don't know if that's just because I made a bigger deposit of like almost $2,000 or what it was, but it definitely scared the shit out of me, and I didn't have any connections there to speak to anybody. So I got off that platform, and Blowfin offered for me to jump on their platform. Again, I don't want to force this platform down anyone's throats, but so far it seems like they're on the come up. For most people, depending on where you are in the US, there are actually no VPN required. So right now I am not on a VPN whatsoever to be on Blowfin. They are also non-KYC. Of course, that can change at any time with any brokerage, but overall I'm really liking the platform, and it is very similar. As you guys can tell, it is super similar to MEXC. So we're going to go ahead and take a jump over into my new account. As you guys can see, before I was at 1,700, and now you guys can see I'm at 2,100. So technically, with my MEXC portfolio being at $200 currently, that's still left in there, and this being at 2,132, I am a little over $2,300 in my portfolio in just under 3 months. Now, jumping into my profit and loss on my futures account, I literally just switched over to Blowfin very, very recently, so I haven't been able to take too many trades. If I scroll down here, you can see my daily trading volume for this week. I really only traded like 2 days ago and today. My total trading volume for the week is about 59,000. I had 43 trades that I successfully placed, and 41 that were actual winners, 95% win rate. I've been playing with a really small amount just to get a little bit more comfortable with the platform, but over the past 2 days so far, I am up $104 on the account. The second day being today, it's only 3 o'clock, so I'm probably still gonna take some more trades later, hopefully get this up to like 150, but I'm looking to close out this week with about $500 to $600 profit. So now you guys probably really wanna understand exactly how and why I'm taking these trades. You guys saw the breakdown of my portfolio, so at this point, I think that you could probably trust that I know my stuff when it comes to trading crypto. Jumping over to TradingView, this is a really great platform. This is what I use to chart. A lot of people ask me, do you chart on the brokerage or do you use something else? I use TradingView, and most other professional traders use TradingView. It's just a much better platform for charting. Now, Solana is one of the cryptos that I like to trade a lot. As you can see, this is my watch list here. I have a pretty good amount of stuff that I like to look over, but Solana is definitely one of the big boys for me. I don't know if we're going to be trading Solana at the end of this video or something else, but you're going to have to stick around to find out. Now, what I usually like to do when trading is kind of just skim through a bunch of these. Now, at this point, after 4 or 5 years of trading, my brain is fully trained to spot setups without even charting. Now, of course, I do end up getting into charting. I'm just telling you guys that I can spot good potential trades without charting beforehand, just because I have so much experience and I've done this thousands and thousands of times over again. But if you guys are beginners, which you most likely are if you're watching this video, or maybe you're not as experienced and you want to learn a different way to do it, go through and look at cryptos that have some good price action during the moment. Now, if we go and look at something like Pepe here, for example, on the 1 minute, earlier the price action was absolutely terrible. This is not a stock that has crazy volume pumped through it. I'm sorry, there is a lot of volume pumped through it, but the price action is just really, really mid. So I would stay away from something like this. If I saw this, I would automatically decide that I'm not trading it. You can see it's literally just a flicker back and forth between ranges here. You might get like a 1 cent move up and down, barely, if that. But next, what I like to do is I like to look for a trend, okay? If I don't see a trend in a crypto, it's a little bit harder for me to trade, but I do have 3 different ways of trading. First one, for example, if I do see a trend such as Doge here, we are clearly in a downtrend. We're getting moves down, pull back, move down, pull back, move down, pull back, move down. There's a lot of different ways of spotting exact key points and pullbacks, but most of the time I don't really waste my time on that. A lot of you guys might think, well, Dylan, that's a little risky. What if, you know, it doesn't pull back to the exact level and you don't get a super perfect entry? For me, entries don't matter as much. Now, of course they matter. You don't want to just take shitty entries for no reason. But if you spot something that's in a clear downtrend right here, you can always average. Now, the great thing about crypto futures trading is that there are no Greeks like options trading. There's Greeks and stuff like that. I deal with that on a day-to-day basis, but with crypto, I don't. So you don't have expiration dates as to when your position expires, and you don't have other things that are affecting your trade. So taking averages is definitely something I like to do. If I see this pull back and I see a little bit of a push up like that, I might start a small position. And again, you guys will see this when I jump into the live trading a little bit later, but I might start a small position here, add more when we get a push up here, and then start trimming off of this dump. The next way I like to trade is momentum trading, also known as breakout trading. Something you guys should really do is familiar yourself with stock pattern setups. Now, these stock pattern setups are identical to crypto, so whether you're thinking about stocks or not, it has nothing to do with it. It all just has to do with the chart of the asset that you're trading. Now, right here, for example, I see a bullish pennant. You get a really nice big green push up, followed by a squeeze. I'm going to chart this out just so you guys can see exactly what I mean by a squeeze. Now, this is a really rough chart. I'm just kind of doing this in a couple seconds to get it over with. But as you can see, the second we break this level, right? If you know these certain key patterns, you know what you're looking for. You're looking for a breakout to make this next high. The second you get a breakout of this zone, you can have a tighter zone, you can have a wider zone, whatever it may be. Either way, it's going to work. You take entry just based off of this breakout here. You ride it all the way up to typically what I like to do is previous levels. So for example, this would have been one of the previous levels I was looking at over here. And if you see, if we start rejecting this level, this is when I'd get out, and you guys can see this did exactly that. We pushed up just below and then started rejecting. I would have been taking trims off way before this. This is on the 15-minute time frame. But once you start to see that clear rejection back down, that's when you exit and you have full profit no matter what. Now, the last way of trading, which is a lot less frequent for me, is called range-bound trading. Range-bound is when a stock or crypto, in this case, is stuck in a range. It just kind of can't really go anywhere. It's chopping sideways. Now, a lot of people do trade this way, but I personally don't really like it. I don't like to get caught in these chops just because most of the time when you're range-bound trading, you're not going to see super significant moves and you're going to get caught in these like baby chops. Now, I know it doesn't look like it right now because we're on the 15-minute, but if we go over to the 5-minute, we can see here there was a lot of chop. You get a little push up, a big dump, a little push up, dump, big push up, dump. Now, this is definitely possible to trade, but it's something that I don't trade as frequently. Now that you guys see these specific trade setups that I look for, I'm going to jump in and take a quick live trade so I can show you guys exactly what I do and how I execute it. Now, I did shut off my camera just for the sake of you guys being able to see my whole entire screen here. But what I mainly look for to begin with when I'm taking a trade is I usually go on the higher time frame. So I'll start on the daily time frame. We're on Solana here. I know I have a lot of things charted out here. I'll try to get rid of some of these so it's not super distracting. But what I like to do is start on these higher time frames and look for certain key trends. Now, what I would see just off of my trained eye from all of my experience is that Solana is probably going to try to make another push down to maybe this 139, 138 level. So playing short here might be a good idea, but it's not something that I really like. And I do have this key level marked off of support. It's around 142, 43 area, give or take. We're a little bit too close to that for my comfort to be able to take any sort of good significant trade here. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on and look for something else. Okay, so something I do like here is whiff. We came up and used this area as resistance multiple times. We see it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. And I'm thinking after this big blast that we finally broke out, we could act as support. And it's starting to already show signs of not wanting to break this level. Now, if we go down into the 15-minute, you can see that on the 15-minute candle, we have 4 back-to-back candles that are super overextended, and we are touching this support zone. So here's exactly what I would do in this situation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up whiff, and this is a real-time trade that I'm taking. Now, what I like to do is I like to start with a smaller position size, about 3%, 2 to 3% of my portfolio. We're going to start with 2 here. We're going to buy long. So you guys can see I have $41 in this trade to start, and we are long on whiff with 15x leverage. Now, what I like to do is kind of wait. If we get back down into this zone and break certain key levels, I am going to take averages and add more size to this position just so that we can get a better return. But right now it's looking like we're green already, not by a huge amount, but I'm not expecting a super huge move up, probably up to like this 290 level, just because it's one of our key levels here. Looking on the 5-minute, we also have a huge amount of red. Now, typically, you're probably thinking, yes, this means we are likely to be in a downtrend, but when you're starting a downtrend above a potential support level or a known support level, as we can see here, a lot of the times it is a fake downtrend. You'll see we're gonna start to pump downward, and we're not actually gonna be able to clear this level. Now, I am not a complete genius, and I can't just absolutely know for sure if that is going to happen or not, but we're going to take this trade and I will update you guys if I take any more positions on this. All right, so you can see from our entry here, we had a nice little bounce from this exact point that I entered into. I don't think we were red even for a second. We are up 5%. Now this is only $1, $2 on the account. I'm sorry, 4%, not 5. It's going up and down right now, but so far this is where we're at. Usually in a trade like this, I would typically see a little bit more of a dump. I don't know how I perfectly sniped that. It happens sometimes, but I was expecting to see a little bit lower so we could average a little bit more, get a little bit more size into this trade and pump up the profit. But profit is profit, and I cannot complain ever. So right now we're at about 5%. You guys are probably wondering how I set my targets. So what I usually do is I look for key either support or resistance areas previously in the market for my targets. Some other traders just like to go based on percentage, and I personally think that's stupid because if you're going for, let's just say 10% and 10% is right here, give or take at this area, you might find that there is a huge key resistance level right before that and you're missing out. You're going all the way back to break even, losing all of your profit just because you were waiting for a 20% mark. So it's a little bit tricky with this specific trade that we took just because there's a lot of support ranges. There's this level, there's this level. Let me mark these off for you guys. There's this level, and these are ranges of levels as well. This level, this level. We even have levels like this up here. So there's a lot of like random support zones. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to a higher time frame. We're going to start on the 15 minute here. It looks like we rejected, so we might actually be able to get an average here. This happens sometimes as well. So looking on the hourly, it looks like the bottom of most of these candle bodies are between this zone here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it my target to be all out of this trade by the time we push up to this exact level. Now, while we're pushing up to this zone, this is another thing I want to show you guys. I do also do analysis of trades during my trades while I'm actually in the trades. A lot of things can happen. A lot of things can change at random. So it's very good to note these key levels. Right here, I can see that we have double wicks on both of these pushes up here. So if I start to see that whiff, what I'm trading right here, is not able to push up and we reject off of this zone yet again, it's going to want to be something that I want to look at, right? So I can see here at this key level, I'm going to go based off of these. We can see that this is our support range here. Now, if we dump back below the support range and start to break structure and close under these blue lines here, that's when I'm going to start to be a little bit worried about the trade, maybe consider closing or maybe considering adding down to this level. If we break structure down to this bottom level here, then that's when I'd probably be out. But right here, you can see we're making another attempt to push up through here. Again, if we reject, and like I said, this is not something that I saw before we entered the trade. It's not possible because this just happened. But this is why it's good to do analysis while you're actually in the trade and waiting for yourself to take profit. So I just want to show you guys what just happened here. We got a big dump, right? And it looked like we were going to close below, but we actually did not close below the support. We ended up bouncing twice here and going back up to where we just were. So it's looking like we do have enough strength to potentially break through this zone, get back above 287.50, and reach our take profit. This is why these support levels are so important to know, especially when you're inside of the actual trade. Now, if we were to have dumped below this and closed below, I probably would have reevaluated. Big move to the upside. We got a break up here. We broke 287.50, sorry. And we are currently up almost 7% on this trade. Now, usually I would take a trade that was much larger. Like most of my trades end up running to like 40, 50%. But just for the sake of this video and not being here for a long time, I'm going to look to just take the profit right up here at 288 on the dot. Looks like we're about to hit it here soon, so I will see you guys once we hit it. Okay, it wasn't even any more than 5 seconds after I just said that. 10%, we are all out of that trade. It looked like it dumped down to 8%, but that is totally okay. 10% out of that trade. Like I said, I usually take trades of much larger size, but we didn't actually get to average into that trade. And like I said, for the sake of this video, I don't want it to be too long. This could push up a little bit more, but you guys get the point here. Successful trade. We took the profit and we're done. So that was it. You guys saw me take a trade completely live. Now, almost every single trade that I take every day is always alerted in my Discord. The link to my Discord is down below in the description. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, please leave a like down below and subscribe and comment your favorite part of this video. It would mean a lot. It's completely free and it helps. I hope I was able to help you improve your trading a little bit, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.